The Proms, a celebration of classical music designed to open it up to the public. And the last night arguably marks the end of summer, but also celebrates all things British. Over the last 3 years, it seems to be really winding up Brexiteers. So this year I decided to go down and interview people, whether attendees, the people handing out the flags, and even Brexiteers, and be ready for Mr. Brexit.
I'm asking people about why they're here and why they're handing out EU flags.
Well, it's quite simple. Norwegian father, English mother, made in Italy, born in England, all the way through school in Belgium. What else am I?
Why are you at the Proms and why have you got an EU flag with you, as well as a Union Jack?
Well, we live in London. We love living in London, but I'm German, so that kind of maybe explains it.
I'm asking people about Brexit and their thoughts about how it's going.
I don't think it's going very well at all. I'm very concerned. We are here today because a lot of musicians are losing out because we've lost our freedom of movement, which means, especially for young people, I feel sorry for, because they may have the opportunity to travel, play music in different countries, like I used to when I was younger, but that opportunity has been taken away, which seems so wrong. So I'm here because I love music, and I'm here because I love my country.
If you imagine you're a coloratura soprano, there's not many roles for that. Now, so you do a gig over here, and then it's over to Amsterdam, and then maybe down to München. Now, each of those countries now needs a separate visa, and if you get the opportunity while you're down there to pop over to Austria or over to France, then you can't do it because you haven't got the visa. So it is, they are totally finished. Now the people who are running gigs, say up in Lancashire or Herefordshire or whatever, well, they can't have international artists. They just haven't got the background in applying for visas and the contacts which they used to get by word of mouth. It's a dire situation, so the high point of British culture really is being killed.
Hey, so I'm Sam Hollings from Swindon for Europe. So we've come over from Swindon, and yeah, I think Brexit's a disaster. I think it's I think it's a thing that has very few benefits, and even those that could have been realised haven't been done. So I mean, one of the reasons we're here to do a dance show, because so Thank You for the Music generally are here to promote the fact that Brexit has made life very hard for performers, particularly young performers. And it's not just music as well, but all the creative industry is damaged by Brexit. It makes it harder for people to go tour, to go, or I was a researcher before. It makes it harder for young researchers to go get jobs on the continent. It damages young people, their lives and opportunities the most. And even worse, I think it sort of hard. It worsens that sort of have and have not divide, because some people, like me for example, I've got an Italian wife, I can get Italian citizenship, my kid's going to have that. That's more likely in big cities like London. So those people are still going to have these opportunities, right? And yet, where I come from in Yorkshire, it's just less likely they're going to be in that situation. So it's widening opportunity divides, and it's just terrible in general. So we're here to try and, through sharing the joy of culture and dance and stuff like that, try and remind people all the good things that we are losing out on.
There was a Brexiteer that I spoke to earlier who was like, why do they have to bring in this thing that's not related to the Proms? The Proms is about Britishness.
Oh, it's totally related. Even going back to when the Proms, Victorian times, whatever. Look, there's musicians from all over the EU here. British musicians, gigging musicians, can't travel. They can't bring their instruments on. You wait till October. This is the thing. People think Brexit has happened. It has not happened yet. The border control points that I was talking about before are coming in 3 stages. 29th of Jan was the first bit, paper checks only, paperwork checks. 30th of April was paperwork and physical checks. And the third tranche is coming in October, both for goods, where our borders are effectively going to close, and to tourists. EU tourists will have to pay £10, even if they're just transiting airside through Heathrow. It's a thing. Look it up.
Lo and behold, It's true, you do need a visa to transit through.
And we are going to have to pay an ETA, £6 visa to go to Europe. And that includes biometric checks, so for your eyes, fingerprinting. I think they're going to stop stamping the passports. But you know, these things are going to cost. It's another cost, it's an extra delay at the border. You know, things are just not going well. Brexit has not worked. It's a failed social experiment.
You see, I sort of think about all those truck drivers who don't want to be trapped here. And then you've got this really interesting contrast where, like Jacob Rees-Mogg said, don't do checks at the borders and limit them. And you're like, right, so you've just told millions, well, not millions, but you've told the smugglers, you open border, bring it all in.
So
it makes no
honey
difference.
and chocolate from the EU now need a veterinary certificate. All right, I mean, fresh fruit and vegetables need a phytosanitary certificate. They never needed one before. You know, the border control points, they literally, if the truck driver goes to Sevington, they might only have, 95% furniture on board and 5% goods that need to be checked. They go to Sevington. I was speaking to a truck driver yesterday at Glee, the Garden and Leisure exhibition in Birmingham, and he was saying that he was stopped at Sevington. They take your keys so that he can't go back to his cab, and there's a room with vending machines, a toilet and a water fountain, and he spent 55 hours in that room. Welcome to Britain. What does that say?
How do you think Brexit's going?
Something coming out of you when you sat on the throne.
Do you have any thoughts about Brexit so far?
It's probably the most stupid thing that ever happened. Yeah, I mean, that's what it is.
Sorry, that's just amazing answer. It's just, yeah, that's it, done. Right, thank you. What do you think about Brexit? How's it going then so far? I think we've got an idea.
Brilliant. I think I don't even know why I call myself a joiner, because it's going so well in every aspect. It's not like every aspect of this country has gone to since we left the EU or anything like that. It's not like the poorest people, as usual, are the ones to get hit hardest and first. So yeah, it's going really good.
What do you think of Brexit so far then, overall?
Well, I think it's summed up by a cafe in Venice that does a Brexit pizza, which is a pizza base with nothing on it.
What do you say to the Brexiteers who say the vote's been had, it's all done and dusted, Keir Starmer's in power and he doesn't want it? What are your thoughts to that?
Well, with respect, it isn't done and dusted. It was one vote 8 years ago on an advisory referendum, which was not legally binding. It was a one-off opinion poll. People were asked to give their opinions on staying in the EU or not, and that was really all it was. And yet, without the information as to what leaving the EU would actually entail, on the back of a non-binding opinion poll, the whole country was taken out of the European Union. So no, I don't think it's done and dusted. I don't think leaving the EU was ever going to be in the benefit of my country, our country, and it's going to take a very long time to renegotiate treaties, the things that we've lost. And
Be prepared for this nasty piece of work.
I don't, thank you, I'm giving out, thank you sir, thank you very much. See, I'm just, sorry, can you see my flags by the way? Yes, you can.
Like, what was the point in that? What does that actually achieve? He's just really vindictive. I did try and interview him later on, but not interested.
What do you say to the Brexiteers who say that the vote's done and it's dusted and we should just move on, and Labour are not interested in changing it?
So I think our democracy is built on repeatedly asking people questions. You know, we have an election every 5 years for a reason, right?
Do you have a message for Starmer?
Yeah. Stop appealing to vanishing minority of people who have such a problem with immigration because they've been lied to about it, and appeal to the majority of this country, which polling says is over 60% so far for rejoin. So be on the right side of history.
Do you have a message for Nigel Farage?
It's a pity the jails are so full.
Do you have a message for Nigel Farage? Do you have a message for Starmer?
Yeah, look, 70% of Labour voted Remain. So you've got that base there. And I think, the last 8 years have proved that it's not that we got a bad Brexit deal, it's that Brexit is bad. It just does not work. We need to have a close relationship with our nearest and dearest. 30 miles is the width of the channel, I believe. And it's actually easier to import stuff from India and places like that, which doesn't make sense. You love Italian food, right?
Yeah.
Lovely. Okay, so I import Italian vegetable seeds. I cannot import from India mozzarella from Campania and basilico from Genova from India and all of these places. I love Indian food. I want Indian food from India. That's great. That's a different matter. But we need to have the rules relaxed. We need to have a closer relationship and eventually, get back into the single market, rejoin maybe sometime in the future if that's a thing. But certainly getting back into the single market, we would not have had 90% of the problems that we're having now.
And a message for Nigel Farage?
Who?
Do you have a message for Nigel Farage?
Hi again, Nige. I know every time we bring our flags down here, there's some article in the newspaper how furious we are, how we forced them those flags. We held them and we made them take those flags in. They're taking them in of their own accord. You lost and you don't even know it. Ciao, ciao.
Some really interesting people that were interviewed today, and I hope that at some point I'll be able to interview some Brexiteers as well to bring some balance to this. Once again, thank you to all of my listeners, thank you to the EU Flag Mafia and everyone who attended and did the interview today. Once again, thank you to my Patreon and YouTube supporters, you keep this channel going and growing. Once again, thanks for listening, bye for now.